Hey everybody, this is the Factsman. Today is the 12th of March, 2019, and I'm doing a cameo for the channel. Make sure I can cut the dust off. For those who've been following the channel, you've noticed that my son, JJ, has now taken over, doing videos, running very, very well, doing good, giving some solid information. My videos now are look, I've done these for so many years. I got over 1 million hits on my YouTube videos. So there's really not much for me to talk about anymore. I know a lot of the old guys view my videos. And if you want to look at some of them, they should be on the channel or at my forum, sportsforumpics.com. There'll be a section called the Facts Corner. It'll have all the videos and radio shows that I've done. And generally, they're pretty funny. I'm at the point where I like to have fun doing these, where, back in the day, I was, breaking games now and drive myself nuts. But I do want to help you guys out when it comes to March Madness. And I think my best video, or my number one video ever, was the how to win at baseball. And I've won at baseball year after year. Can't fucking see without these glasses. My son probably sounds more professional than me. I don't give a fuck. I say anything that's on my mind, and that's what I do. I mean, if you get offended by bad language, my suggestion is stop listening. But that's the way I grew up, and that's the way I talk, and I can't help it. And it is what it is, and that's that. All right, couple things. I found that a lot of people like talking about gambling stories, because betting is our own little secret, right? You guys watching, you like to bet sports, you like to hear stories, you got to do that. But you kind of can't tell your closest friend who doesn't bet, or your fucking mother-in-law, who thinks you're out at the movies when you're getting scores, on Texas Tech and fucking Prairie View. So this is our own little secret society, It's not like drug addicts where they fucking look like zombies, or alcoholics where you can smell alcohol on people. Can't smell fucking bets on people. You can't, people don't wobble around when they're gambling unless you get a buzzer beater. And like I say, I've done some wobbling in my days on buzzer beaters and shit happening, but that's just the way it is. So I like to tell some stories on fun things that happened. I do a lot of, I've done a lot of classes on poker, on how to attack craps, how to attack roulette, just different edges that you can find. But now we're talking sports. But we got to start out with a couple of stories with my son. And again, I can make up some really cool stories, but whatever story I tell you is legit. 20 years ago, my son's 9 years old, playing in a little basketball league. He was all of fucking 4 foot nothing. Today he's like a fucking giant, right? Guy does like 300 fucking crunches a night. I do like 20 Nestle crunches a night. But so he's at this basketball game. So I'm in the car. I'll never forget it. Right before the game starts. And I might have told the story for a lot of the older people. I'm in the car right before he goes in. Call bookmaker. They were around then too. And I said, give me Florida State led in 9 against Virginia Tech for 3 dimes. Just like that. So JJ's listening, to the thing. And he knew fucking shit was going on then, just like my daughter. Well, by the way, I got a daughter 9. I got a son 29 and a daughter 9. I basically fuck every 20 years. What was I thinking? Anyway, back to the story. So we go into the basketball game, and they're doing the warm ups before the game starts. And the coach is under the basket, and he's making a phone call before the game starts. And he like gives his password or whatever. He calls his local bookie. It's something like, Wolf for, Rattlesnake, and they get to the line. He's like, all right, give me Florida State -10 for 200, or in New Jersey they call it 40 times. It's like a $200 bet. If you're not from New Jersey, or you don't know what that means, but it was a $200 bet. So he hangs the phone. My son goes up to him and says, Coach Nick, I got a question for you. He said, what? He says, Florida State's only 9. Coach's like, what are you talking about? It's like, my dad just bet Florida State -9. You gave 10. That's a whole extra point. And he's like, what are you talking about? He said, no, it's cool. I ain't going to say nothing. So JJ never started a basketball game in his fucking life. He was even next to He sat next to the fucking water boy on the end of the bench. Let's call the starting lineup out. JJ, you're in. You're starting, right? So kid played the whole game. That season, he did not have a minute on the bench. He played the whole game. So I went up to the coach. I said, Coach, like after the third game, I said, my son sucks. Why are you playing him? And he's like, no, the kid's got potential. He's really, really good. I'm like, look, he ain't going to rat you out. I said, about the bet thing that he heard. He ain't going to say a word about it. He's like, no, it's not that. Got to the point where my son had to take himself out of the game. He was tired. But truth be told on that story, my son actually became a really good basketball player. So I got to figure I'm going to take credit for that because by him, me making that bet, him over here and the coach got some playing time, and he wound up being a really good basketball player. But it was funny how the kid didn't know that that the coach didn't know that JJ was listening and basically told him he had a bad line. So the kid's got got a good bloodline, and he knew numbers then. I mentioned I have a daughter that's she's 8. She'll be 9. So yeah, it's still like a 21, little over 20-year-old difference. That motherfucker, she's got more money than me and my son together, and we're rich. I like to be in her shoes. Funny story on her. For an 8-year-old, she's probably the best poker player I've ever seen as an 8-year-old. She might be the best poker player I ever seen as a 20-year-old, but she's good. She picks it up. So one day we always get the chips, we got the fake chips and the cards, and like the family's around, and go, Daddy, let's play poker. I said okay. So we get the chips out, and she says, Dad, can I use some other chips? And we're like, wow, we have chips here. So I want to use the good chips. So, okay, what good chips? What are you talking about? She goes into her fucking like toy chest, and she's like, I want to play with these chips. So where'd you get these chips? These are $1,000 chips that I got at MGM. Who the fuck knows when, and who the fuck knows why? It's not just one. It's 2. It's 3. It's 4. It's 5. And I'm missing $5,000. So you see that MGM 1,000, or is it that way? Whatever. She got $5,000 in my fucking chips. I never knew. I didn't even know I was missing it. I said, where the hell did you get them chips? She says, well, I found them on your desk in your cigar box. I'm like, I don't smoke cigars, but I keep like these little things to hold stuff in, for and she had $5,000 in my chips. So I got him. I gotta go catch him in pretty soon or go play him. But anyway, that was the story. Let's talk a little bit about why you watching the video for college basketball. Everybody's gonna ask this question: who's your sleeper? Who do you like to win it all? I'm not into that. I mean, like anybody could win this tournament. I mean, when I say anybody, it's probably about 5 or 6 teams that could win it. Me personally, I like Virginia. Call me a homer because I live in Virginia. I think they're the best team in college basketball. Yes, they lost to Duke twice, but from experience, from what they have, I think if they hit their shots and some teams just don't go completely ballistic, like Maryland, Boston, University of Maryland, Baltimore College, I think they're going to be a tough out. Duke is going to be a solid out. People say, well, what do you like as far as sleepers? I don't know. Kentucky, if they get hot, they could be tough. Tennessee, those are 2 good teams in the SEC. Michigan State, Izzo. The guy's got experience. His team usually gets pretty solid this time of year. I wouldn't count him out. But I'm really intrigued on the Houston team. The Houston team's pretty good. I think they're really good, not pretty good. I'm not a guy, like I say, who's going to get into they're long, they're athletic, they do that. Fuck that. God gave me 2 eyes and now $800 frames and glasses. I can see. I can tell what teams are good and what teams aren't good. And as far as handicapping goes, I always tell people, if you can't watch a game or look at 2 teams and make a line or know where the advantage lies, you shouldn't be betting. I say this all the time. I tell people, play the line game. And it's a game that I used to play with my father, who's a bookie. I played with played this game with him 45 years ago. It was just amazing. So basically, what you do is like, in them days, you looked in the paper and you just kind of put a slot in the middle and you say, Cincinnati and Houston or whatever. But what you want to do is you want to play the line game, meaning you want get a schedule of the games and guess what the line and the total should be. And if you're not within a point or two of the line or 3 or 4 points of the total, you better start fucking bowling or taking up arts and crafts because you shouldn't be betting sports. I'm telling you, stop it. Don't do it. You're not going to win. A friend of mine uses this expression, and it's a good one. I'm going to steal it from him. Show me a part-time bettor, I'll show you a full-time loser. And that's true. That is 100% true. So again, it's being able to look at the teams, look at the situations, and then do your homework. I always use little tricks during the tournament. Okay, tricks are you get a coach like Krzyzewski. He say he's playing Marquette or some of his ex-coaches, Johnny Dawkins, Cape, whatever. And the line is a big line or whatever, or he's winning. He's not going to stick it in their ass. He just won't do it. If he's got the game in hand, he'll put the white kids in. And that's not a racial thing, but you show me a team with 5 white kids, you show me a guy that's laying the points. Because, especially the ones with the fucking crew cuts or the fucking poof hairs, them jerk-offs, you can still see they got pimples. Those teams, they're called Harvard. No, actually, Harvard has probably got more black players than white, but which is good. I think it's, I just make jokes about throwing the white kids in, Anyway, you got to be able to identify it. I mean, I know my son does a lot of videos with tremendous stats and tremendous things, and I'll ask him sometimes, like, I'm ready to pull a trigger on a big game for a long, for a lot of money. I call him, I say, Jay, tell me a reason I shouldn't bet this game, and my son is the best at this. He will give you 5 reasons to bet a game and 5 reasons not to. I'm a little more impatient than that. I'd rather have the 5 reasons too. Because now what happens is now I'm like, fuck, what do I do now? My son's telling me 5 reasons why I should bet it. I'm getting ready to hit submit, And then he's like, but, what I mean? He's, I tell him all the time, I says, just tell me who you like. I mean, I like this game. I can't put the fucking toothpaste back in the tube. What are we going to do? Anyway, some other tricks. Don't ever take 2 points in the game. This game -2, -115. I'll bet the money line +2. I'll take. I'm sorry, +2. Don't take +2 -115. I'll take the money line +115. Why would I lay 15 cents juice on a game that has to fall 1 or 2 for me to get fucked? If it happens, I deserve to lose. But if I add up at the end of the year, calendar year, that 15 cents I'm laying at +2 and the 15 cents I'm getting at even money, I'm going to be a long-term winner at the end. And that's what this is about. People ask me all the time, what's your record? Well, my record today is 0-0. What? Well, it's 0-0. My games haven't started yesterday. Well, what'd you do yesterday? Yesterday's history. Yesterday's history. So the thing is, you hear this all the time. How many games, what'd you do in your last 100? I was 70-30. Small sample size. What'd you do the last 300? How about what did I do the last 3 decades? Is that fucking enough? The thing is, you're only as good as your last bet. And that's just the way it is. And the bankroll stuff, and again, my son uses this because it's the terminology that we're using today. Bet 3% of your bankroll, bet 4% of your bankroll, bet 1% of your bankroll. What is your bankroll? What is John the plumber, Phil the doctor, Gary the fluffer on a porn set? Guys make $100,000 a year, $30,000 a year. The guy blowing guys in a porn set maybe pays $20,000 a year. I don't know, but my point is, what is your bankroll? We don't like turn around and say, okay, here's what I'm going to do. Let's see. Let me take some money out. Okay, I got some cash here. So here's my bankroll. I'm going to take out, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, 20, 21. Okay, here's my bankroll. I got $2,500 here and 5,000 in chips. Here's the 7,500. That's my bankroll. It's not your bankroll. Is your bankroll your net worth? Is your bankroll what you have in your pocket? Is your bankroll what you have in your fucking Christmas club or whatever kind of stupid investments you people make? No. You bet according to what you can get the best rush on, because that's why you bet for the rush. You don't bet to win. Nobody does. Well, I do because I don't have a fucking job. This is my job. But you bet what you could afford to win, or afford to lose, and just enough that gives you the rush. I know doctors that make $3 million a year, they bet 300 a game. I know guys that sweep the streets that make 300 a week, they bet 3,000 a game. They need the rush. But I guess my point to this is, um, the bankroll stuff. I get it. If you're somebody disciplined enough, I got my right hand to God. I never met one person in my life, and I know a lot of motherfuckers in my years, from Vegas to wherever I've been. I've been all over the world 10 times over. I've never seen anybody have a fucking bankroll put aside to wager on sports. Just haven't. Just don't do it. But again, it's terminology that people use, and that's fine. I just think it should be kind of a guideline that people use. Now, I talked about taking 2 points, as opposed to taking 2 points. Don't do it. -115. Take the money line. Also, I have some weird things that I do. I don't bet teams with fucked up nicknames. Okay, I don't bet the Anteaters. I don't bet the Gauchos, the Highlanders. There's like 7 Highlanders out there. There's the New Jersey Institute of Technology. They're called the Highlanders. There ain't high fucking land in New Jersey. I grew up there. I know it. How the hell they call them the Highlanders? The Hofstra Pride. I wouldn't bet them on fucking principle. Pride? They used to be the Flying Dutchman. But that's all. It's politically incorrect. But you can call them the Fighting Irish. That's not, that's not bad. If I was Irish, I'd be pissed off. And if I was Dutch, I'd be happy. Flying Dutchman. Don't fucking change them to the Pride. How about the Delaware Blue Hens? If you imagine calling your bookie, yeah, this is Johnny here. What's my figure for the week? Down 1,200. I like to make a parlay with the Blue Hens and the Quakers, because I had oatmeal this morning. Yeah, Penn Quakers, they're good. And the Governors. Is that Austin P? Yeah, Governors, because I live in Virginia, and it's near Washington. There's Governors here. Give me a 3-team round robin, 3x2. You know what? An out of 3. How the fuck do you bet teams like that? I wouldn't do it. I'm crazy with nicknames. Call me superstitious. I know it's bad luck to be superstitious, but that's what it is. The tournament's coming. Here's what you got to watch. You're going to see lines. I can promise you. You're going to see lines that are, holy shit. How is Tennessee only 12 over fucking teams that you've heard of, but you're like, some of them lines are deceiving. But you get a team like Wofford, they got a good team. So I wouldn't want to play them. Even teams like Belmont, they probably won't get in there. But these guys, some of these schools, they got some players. They can win a game in this tournament. So sometimes you might see lines that'll be like, holy shit, it's a cheap line. Things that when they're cheap for a reason. These guys aren't making lines so you can fucking, crush them. It's not the way it is. One thing I do, I never bet against them fucking hyphenated teams or teams with 3 names. They always will fuck you. Like Arkansas Pine Bluff or UNC Asheville, Gardner Webb, right? What the fuck kind of name is that? I ain't betting against them teams. Prairie View A&M. There's a couple other ones. You know the name of the teams I'm talking about. These teams that got these fucking 3 names in them. Don't do them. Fuck them teams. They'll burn you. Believe me when I tell you. Anyway, I know I'm trying to be funny here, but that's just what I do. What was I gonna say? Oh, so as far as the tournament goes, do this for me. It's really, really important. People, busiest time of year in sports books is March Madness. Okay, why? Vegas rooms are packed. Everybody's going out there, and everybody's like, "Oh, you got to come out for March Madness." Like, I never been to fucking Vegas for March Madness. Okay, been all over the world. I haven't gone to Vegas for March Madness. I fucking lived in Vegas for 6 years. Anyway, what happens is, you sit in the room. There's like fucking 12 TVs. Every game is on. Hey, buddy, how many games did you bet? I bet them all. It's like fucking 15 games on. I got 4 on at noon. They go to 10, 11 o'clock at night. Bet 10 games for $100 a piece. Stare at that television like a sick cocksucker that you are. And you sit there and you say, no, they bet more. You talk about the night. You're talking about 20 games, right? 20 games. when you count, you factor in halves and all that kind of shit. So I know people that bet 20 games a day. That's why I live in this house. But uh, anyway, so just for argument's sake, let's use 10. Bet $100 a game, right? You you bet 10 games. You say you go 10-9. You're winning. You got a winning record. You won more games than you lost. Cash in $1,000. You won 10 games. There's your G. You lost 9. You lose 990. You put $2,200 in play. You sweated like a whore in church to win $10. Why not take the 1,900? Take 3 games, bet 400 each, less of an investment. Go 2 out of 3 or whatever. You're still in action. Maybe you got a shot at making some money. Problem with people betting is they'd just rather have action. They'd rather have action than make money. You know, my son, was at the dice table with me one day, and he might have told this on one of his videos. He watched me play, and then he was playing, and I think I won like 100 grand or something like that, and he might have won 20. And he was never so sad, not sad. He was never so pissed off in his life, and he's like, why didn't I just let it go when the dice were good? And he learned this. He said, it's never going to happen to me again. And he takes that approach to sports as well, because you have to. And you guys all know this. When you're running good in sports, it doesn't matter. You're going to win every fucking game, even if the side seems wrong. I mean, you'll have a technical foul, triple turnovers, you're down 16, and they come back and, guy puts up a half-court shot and wins. When things go good, that's the way it happens. When you're losing, you could write a book on ways you've lost games. That's contagious. Winning and losing is contagious. I don't know why. It just is. But it's like that way for everybody. We just perceive the bad beats, if that's what you want to call it, although I've never seen a good beat. We look at that and we just can't let that go. Like, oh, how we got fucked. But we don't remember when we win. And that's kind of, the thing that kind of gets people in a position where they don't know. Me, I play every game exactly the same. Okay, I'm not a big 2-unit, 4-unit, 6-unit. I can't buy a fucking Ferrari with a unit. I can buy it with cash, and I can't bet. If I say I got a 5-unit game, and that means 5,000, then I got a 2-unit game, which means 2,000, and a 1-unit game, which means 1,000. You're supposed to say to me, Mr. Factsman, I have a question for you. Why would you give the 1-unit game if you don't like it? Don't bet it. Why wouldn't you just bet the 5? True. Why would I bet the 2? I like it a little. Don't bet it at all. Bet the 5. So I try to avoid volume because in the end it'll kill you. Quality will always beat quantity. Now, here the last thing before I go, I tell my son, do your videos, keep them like 5-6 minutes. People lose interest. Meanwhile, I'm at 22 minutes. I'm doing a mini series here. Okay, but this is just me coming back, help a little fresh stuff for you guys. I definitely will be doing a baseball video. It's probably my most popular video on how to beat baseball. There's nobody that beats baseball like I do. There's nobody that does. I can promise you. You look at Bookmaker or all the offshore books. If I take a position on a baseball game, that fucking line will move all the time. Totals, I know a way to beat it. I know how to beat it. I've done it for a long time. Hey, ask me about NFL football. I suck at it. I don't bet NBA basketball. You got to be nuts to do it. No one can beat the game. The only game that's beatable is baseball and tennis. And if there's somebody better than it, I like to know. I like to meet them. And if I was a homosexual, I'd suck his dick, but with a rubber on. Kidding. Well, I mean about the rubber. Anyway, look. Hope you enjoyed it. Just showing my face. Follow the channel, guys. I'm telling you. If you can tell a friend who can tell a friend who can tell a friend that can get this channel, some people that are going to come all the time. I got a lot of connections, to get you guys contests, to get some stuff going. Visit my sports forum at sportsforumpicks.com. Again, I'm going to need your help with this. My son's going to need your help with it. It's his show now. I'm just, kind of, sweeping the floor for him when I have to, and taking orders from him when I need to. But if you can, again, tell some people, Google, Twitter, whatever them other social media shit things that you guys do. I'm a pad and paper guy. I don't do that fucking spreadsheets. The only thing I want spread is my wife, and that comes on my birthday. Shit, she's gonna watch this video. I'm fucked. There goes my birthday present. Joking again. Not really. By the way, my daughter's got to watch this later. Anyway, look, I'm gonna finish my video like I always do. You know my signature. If you don't know my video, you don't know my signature or send off. Don't get insulted. This is just what I do and how I do it. For all you sports bettors out there visiting our YouTube channel, myself and my son wish you all a great, successful tournament. Feel free to drop us an email at any time. We'll be happy to answer it. Make some money. Have a great day. And as always, go and fuck yourself.